The remaining angry 14 Premier League clubs are meeting today, currently in the middle of a meeting to discuss how to deal with the other Big Six and could even order them to quit the division. And now, according to posts and reports, seeds of doubt are creeping in, with one or two of the top 6 English rebels close to losing their nerve. Welcome back to the West Ham Daily. My name's Anton, joined by Stel, of course. Stel, we've got an interesting show today.
Yep, absolutely. We've got a couple of guests coming on, which is a fair representation of the fan base. So,
of course, but before
it's good, yeah.
Before we do that and bring other guests on, let's get our co-host on. Our co-host on. It's the DJ Russie B. How you doing?
He was.
My number's 11. Go across and subscribe to his channel. Get on it. Subscribe.
Richard Garcia's on tonight, so there we go. Something different than European Super League. So yeah, go on.
Good man. Thanks, Russ. Been an interesting couple of days, mate. Are you?
Yeah, I put the bins out. I cooked a lovely dinner yesterday. Yeah, no, it's mental, isn't it? It's mental.
Yeah,
it really is. It's funny how the world has just changed of football in about 36 hours since I know you and me on that Sunday we didn't go to sleep because it was I just about got my head around I still don't know who H is from Line of Duty, and then bang, this comes out as well. It's Sunday, my head was completely all over the place, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think everyone will feel the exact same. However, listen, without further ado, these are a daily show, and we've got several guests on from different clubs. As Stel said, a fair representation from the club. So we're going to bring on the guests as we go along. So we've got Mike from the Blue Boys Network, Everton fan. Thank you very much for joining us, Mike. You've been on before. And we'll come to you and have a general chit chat. Jack from Leicester Fan TV, again, been on with us before. Thank you very much for coming on. And Natalie from All United, is it?
All for United.
All for United from
starting
Manchester
our own
United.
individual YouTube channel soon. So obviously I'll.
Congrats!
Good on you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So before we get started, I just want to throw up some, topical conversations, but let's have a look at the man himself. It's been around today all over the media. Florentino Perez, Real Madrid president, has been busy. Hold on a minute. I just want to bring that off again. Mike, can we just have a look and see what you were doing?
I was going to say, it like Stel without a beard and moustache.
So this geezer has decided to speak out and tell us how we feel. Tell us fans how we feel. He's talking about 16 to 24-year-olds, and 40% of them aren't interested in football. Why? They say the games are too long. If young people don't watch an entire game, it's because it isn't interesting enough, or we'll have to shorten the games.
Oh, my Lord. You know what? I've only just seen that comment.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. I'm going to just quickly put all the comments out, and then we'll just go for it. Are you ready? Just to add matters to it. It only gets attractive from the quarterfinals. That's all we play against. Small teams that aren't attractive. Let me just reiterate, small teams aren't attractive. Young people prefer to entertain themselves with other things. But if we do this all season, 5 games on a Tuesday, 5 on a Wednesday, that would be unstoppable. We are doing this to save football at this critical moment, Perez is saying. And finally, he's talking about how the law protects them. The clubs will not get into any legal issues. It is impossible. The players should remain calm because the threats won't happen. This is not a league for the rich. It's a league to save football. I'm going to put it straight over. Yeah. Straight over to you, Mike. Go for it, mate.
Honestly, I mean, fucking hell. I don't even know where to start. Obviously, I've done videos on this. I've done rants about this. It's absolutely outrageous. And for a man that doesn't know the English game whatsoever, for him to try and tell fans what they think and what they do, to the point where the grandson of Bill Shankly, who obviously is an absolute Liverpool great in Merseyside, for his grandson to come out and say he wants his statue removed from outside Anfield speaks volumes. Everton Football Club today rightly come out and absolutely obliterated the top 6. Everton, like ourselves, all of our teams in here, with the exception of the Big 6, are still big clubs. Everton have won 9 league titles. No one can tell me that Everton aren't a big club. And I was really proud that Everton stood up and went, do you know what? Fuck yous. You're a disgrace. You're all a disgrace. They single-handedly laid into the top 6. And I swear to God, it's the fans I feel so sorry for. The fans of these clubs. To know that your club does not give a shit about you, I couldn't imagine how that feels. And for those poor sets of fans the ones that go to the game, the ones that have spent thousands of pounds of money on merchandise, shirts, season tickets, home and away across this country. It's an absolute fucking sacrilege to them. And I swear to God, I hope the Premier League today boot the fucking lot of them out of the Premier League. I'm done. And honest to God, they won't do it. They won't boot them out of the league.
Unfortunately, they won't boot them out. They won't. The thing that I'm worried about is that the UEFA, the Premier League, the FA, La Liga, Serie A, etc., they're all going to capitulate, and they're all going to give in to these clubs, and they're going to end up giving them a bigger slice of the pie, because this is what it's all about. It's not about the Super League. The Super League is a layer to sort of like this. This is the stick to go. This is what we're going to do if you don't give us what we want. And the unfortunate thing is, all the leagues and all the relevant bodies are going to go, you know what, let's keep the peace. We'll give you a little bit more of what you want in order to keep you there. Unfortunately, as it stands, these big clubs think that we need them more than they need us. But what will happen is, if we actually did let them loose, you know, in 4 or 5 years' time, you'll have another top 6 big clubs around Europe. And that's what will happen, and it will all balance itself out. All the big money, let them have it. This is the Chinese Super League all over again. You know, it just happens to be in Europe, and these clubs want their cake and eat it. You know, and if we call their bluff, they may get money, big bucks for the next 5 years. But when people get bored with that, seeing the same teams playing the same teams, it'll die out. You know.
Natalie, I mean, as a Man United fan, go for it. Give us your thoughts.
I hate it. You know, I'm with Mike, and he's saying he feels sorry for me. I feel sorry. I feel like, you know, as a Man United fan, I've travelled. I've been to West Ham, been to Leicester, been to Everton, been to all the teams, been across Europe, been to Juventus, Paris, even the small teams that they talk about. But Basel, we couldn't even beat them. So we're acting like no one wants to go and see the small teams. They sold out. I was there. You know, I couldn't it wasn't easy to get those tickets. So talking about no one wants to see us play small teams. Well, there was everyone queuing up to see it. You know, I've been to Turkey and got battered by them as well. So this guy, you know, it's just, it's the Glazers. It's the Glazers. And for me, like what Stel said, you can give them what they want, but give them what they want now. And then 10 years,
they'll ask more again in the future.
They'll ask for more in the future. You need to get rid of them now. They are a virus. They are toxic. They are trying to kill English football. And it pains me that it's my club. I'm sorry. I'm coming on here and apologizing to everyone because I'm sorry. You know,
we're not sorry for you. This is the thing.
It's not the fans. It's not the fans. It's not even the players. You know, I've heard rumours from a friend of mine from one of the other Man United channels. He's just messaged me saying Marcus Rashford walked out this morning because he can't. Good. You know, I can't believe the poor fans of these clubs are having to apologise to us. I mean, it's a disgrace. I can't get over how a Manchester United, how a Liverpool, how an Arsenal have won something like 51 league titles in this country between them. And they've turned around and said, you know what? Fuck you. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's not Man United, it's the Glazers. And it's FSG. It's all them. It's the Americans. They don't understand teams like West Ham, Leicester. They don't understand how you guys can have a say in operations. Yeah. But this is how it's been working long before. They need to get with it or get out. Get with it.
The irony, Natalie, you know, what you said earlier, the most exciting Premier League games for me is when I managed to get a ticket for the small teams like Bournemouth and clubs like that, because you know you go down there and you never know what the result's going to be, and that's what is all about. That's what football is all about. It's the excitement of not knowing whether you play a big team or a small team or a medium team or whatever it is. You don't know what you're going to come out with, and that's what makes it exciting. What Perez has been talking about is I want to make it bland and boring and protect my club because we're all in debt, Real Madrid, Barcelona, etc., and we just want to get a bigger slice of the pie.
Before we go over to Jack at Leicester, Russ, what's your thoughts?
Do you know what? I've obviously, particularly now, because everyone seems to be Obviously, Perez has come out and various others. I mean, it is, obviously Klopp yesterday, being interviewed, pretty much saying, nothing of it. The fact that Jose's gone, that's not coincidental in my view as well in terms of taking a stance. But I can, if we're, from a, and again, I'm not condoning it at all. But from a business perspective, if I was in a company and I know my year, this is my turnover every year, but that's dependent on how well the team performs. So as I said, Wolves this year. So this year they haven't been performing well, but last year they were up there. So their revenues have gone up and down. And so you can see why they're doing it, because obviously all they know is the American way of dealing with franchise football, with franchise sports. But it's just doesn't work. That system does not work in football. And it's exactly what Natalie says. It's the Americanization. I mean, the thing that surprised me was Khan from Fulham coming out and saying, basically condoning it, because he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he knows that system. And he has appreciated the fact, and you can see now that everyone's coming for the woodwork. Schalke trying to get involved, but they're bottom of the Bundesliga. If they get involved, then that just makes the whole mockery of a Super League when you've got a team that's almost relegated in the Bundesliga.
Well, it's already been made a mockery, mate, because Spurs are there.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs, exactly. It only takes that one word and he makes a whole mockery out of it. You know what I mean? When Wigan have got more silverware than Spurs, and then Spurs, they brought in Mourinho to try and win titles, and they sack him a week before the cup final. So it's Ryan Mason will potentially have more cups than Mourinho, Pochettino added together. So that's just 29. It's 29, mental, but yeah.
Jack, of course, from Leicester Fan TV. I mean, listen, the comments that Perez is saying is about the small clubs. I mean, in theory, everyone that's not in that top 12 Super League founders, it falls under that category of small clubs. I mean, you've won the league a couple of years ago, mate. Your ownership is exactly what a lot of clubs crave. The way you treat the players, the way you treat the fans, the way you invest into your squad, the way you invest into your training setup. But then you've got this greed, this pure and utter greed at the top. And then, slagging off, basically straight up slagging off the club that you love and support, that are trying to do something, get into the top four, qualify for the Champions League. You've been there recently. Something that us as West Ham fans and Mike as an Everton fan, we're desperate to do is get to the Champions League and progress as a club. Talk to me, Jack, about your feelings, mate.
Well, it's just credit to Leicester's owners. They've obviously put the club first. They've put the fans first. They've never thought about what's going in their pockets. They've always gave instead of took. We're not interested in this Super League crap, what they've obviously come out with. Younger fans enjoy football. I don't know what this Real Madrid owner's on about. This in the Premier League, it's great to see us play Sheffield United and that. Why not? It shows unpredictability, and anyone can beat anybody in this league, which makes it exciting for fans to watch from the stands and at home. It's something that Mike Ashley would do at Newcastle. I don't know Tottenham as a big club, really. I know they won the double in 1961. They've won the Carabao Cup when Harry Redknapp was manager. Apart from that, how are Tottenham a big club? Arsenal this season and previous season have not even been in the top six. I think the last time they was in the top six was 2016. When Leicester won the title. So apart from that, what have Arsenal and Tottenham actually done to call themselves a top six club?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, this is the massive irony there, because 4 of the top 6 clubs are not likely to make Champions League this season. Because exactly, and if Leicester and West Ham get Champions League, that's going to rub their noses right in it. You guys are there, Natalie, but the Arsenal and I mean, 4 of these top 6 clubs are not likely to make Champions League. Well, definitely.
That's what they want. That's what they want. They want more positions so that they can get in the Champions League. Like I said, if I look at it, Leicester are a bigger club than Spurs. Bigger, because they've won the Premier League. They've been in Champions League. They're about there now. Look at that squad. You'd have a Leicester team over Spurs any day. Any day. I don't even looking at Spurs. Anyone is Harry Kane. So I don't know how they've somehow wiggled their way in.
Mike is an Everton fan. You're building a stadium. You're building a whole new stadium. £500 million investment into this new stadium. And in theory, what these clubs are going is, screw you. We don't give a care anything about what is going on there. I mean, talk to me again, mate. Let me know your feelings.
Well, this is why it was so important that Everton come out big and brave and strong this morning. You know, I think Everton as a club are a respected club, but appreciate that they're not the same club they was 20, 30 years ago. You know, Everton is still a big club, very much like Leicester, but in a different mould. Everton are more traditional, Leicester are more recent. Everton having this ambition to break into the top four and getting Ancelotti, and for the top six clubs, they're just thinking about themselves. They based it on revenue, and these six clubs make more revenue. Would Spurs have got in over Everton in 3 years' time when Everton have a new stadium based on Everton's history compared to Spurs? No, it wouldn't. So, to me, the fact that Everton have come out, been bold and brave, as I say, I get why people are worried from a financial perspective, but DAZN have got the TV rights for this league, not Sky, not BT. So DAZN have them already. So if Sky and BT are still going to want to invest in something, they're going to have to invest in the Premier League, which means, as Stel rightly said, the next big six will come through. And then in 5-10 years' time, you're going to have their big six against our big six. And you know, based on having to support and back ourselves, we've got to back ourselves. You know, I want it that this bubble bursts and these clubs, and this is absolutely no disrespect to Manchester United or Liverpool or anything, but I want it that they come grovelling back to us in 5-10 years' time, and they can't get in the Premier League, they can't get in the EFL, they have to start in the conference or the 9th tier of English football. And it's wrong to say that to their poor bloody fans, but they've turned their back on everyone. So from an Everton comment.
Sorry, mate. Go on. Sorry.
No. From an Everton perspective, as long as the TV rights stay in this country from BT and Sky, who do not have a sniff over American broadcasters, we'll be fine.
Well, this is the thing. I'm gonna pick on that in a minute. I mean, this comment here. I mean, I know it's tongue in cheek sort of thing, but you know. Will the fans of these clubs? I mean, Natalie.
Yeah, I'm not renewing.
You're Man U through and through.
Everyone's already said. I don't know if you guys know, but there's the Red Army and obviously Man United Supporters Trust. But the Red Army have come out and said, take your option, because United have already given us an option not to renew. So take your option. Don't renew it next year. You can still have it. Maybe they'll change their mind. I don't think they will, but I'm not going back. I'm not going to step foot in Old Trafford.
Do the owners care?
They don't care. Legacy fans. I'm not a legacy fan. I've been going since 16. You know, I'm 20. I'm nearly 30 now. I've been going since 16. I've scraped all my money together to try and go, and the prices have gone up and up and up. But I'm still going. I'm still traveling.
Mike just touched on. You're absolutely right, Mike. It's where the TV money is. Now we know damn well that if these clubs get banned or whatever, they break away, whatever it may be, we know damn well that TV companies are not going to want to pay the sort of money that they're currently paying for TV rights to televise Premier League. We know that. But I don't think that's a problem, because that will create an equilibrium. You know, what will happen is the money will go down, wages will go down, everything will go to a level that should be where it's at, rather than these inflated prices that we're paying for players, these inflated prices that we're paying for this, that, and the other. You know, player wages, someone put in there 300 grand a week for Messi and stuff like that. Those days will be over. Their little bubble of Super League, they're the only ones that will be paying for that. And as soon as JP Morgan decide that this little, game, this little rich man's playground gets boring, that money will run out. Just like the Chinese Super League, because money has run out, and then, if we do kick them out, they will come back cap in hand, but they need to start from the bottom.
I'll tell you what, as well, what I think will happen, the Glazers will try and get 3 billion, 6 billion, however many billion they want, then they'll just leave United, and it'll be United. Got that debt on it. That'll be suffering, and it'll be us fans that have to put the money. They'll have to build it. That might even go. I'm not saying, we might even go bust, because we'll have 600 million, maybe even have £1 billion of debt, and they'll just
they'll walk away. They'll walk away.
I mean, Russ, with 6 or 7 games to go in the season, West Ham and Leicester fighting it out, and other clubs fighting it out for European spots, Champions League spots, etc. To put this statement out, at the timings that they did. I mean, in general, just putting a statement out is the wrong thing. You know, the whole idea, the concept is wrong, but the timings of it wrong in the middle of a pandemic, talking about Real Madrid, Barcelona, who ran up some crazy debts because of their greed originally, having 900 million, close to £1 billion of debt, you know, and then they think it's going to save football right in the middle of 6 games to go when clubs are fighting out to get
we know it's not about. We know it's not about saving football. We know that. We know it's a power. You know, I still think it's a power play to try and get more piece of the pie in the Champions League. We've already, you know, they've already given them 2, you know, as part of the new Champions League format that's been agreed, which has gone sort of not under the radar, but it has somewhat. There's potential for 2 elite clubs who haven't even qualified to get in the Champions League. That's sort of what they're doing in the Super League now, as it is, you know. So, you know, and that is why someone like UEFA have come out. You know, do you know what? And I mean, there hasn't been many pro voices on social media and stuff, but one that's come through quite a lot for the West Ham, Stephen Bywater. He's come through and you know, you might agree with him in terms of who he is and stuff like that. But you know, UEFA, where were UEFA when Bury went into extinction? And they didn't bail them out. It would cost fuck all to bail them out. But because it's coming into the Champions League, you know, it obviously it's not coincidental that it happened the day before, the night before that came out. I find it ironic that West Ham getting to the top 4 has basically collapsed European football. You know, that's basically what's happened, it seems. And but it's just the timing, and we know it's gonna, you know, it just shows where the power in football is. We just show, you know, it's all about the money, man. The
Super League have released a statement literally just. And on that statement, they've said UEFA as a governing body are not listening to the clubs, and are monopolising competitive football. The reality is the Champions League is not a commercial success. I mean, this is horrendous how it's got to the point. It's genuinely got to the point now where they're not even hiding behind the fact it's about football anymore or grassroots. Yeah. It is just all about money. They've just come out and said it. It's like Perez is sitting there at the top of it going, right, I'm going to save football. No, what he's saying is I'm going to save Real Madrid and Barcelona. Yeah. Because all of you stupid clubs have signed up to this, not realising that you're saving our clubs. I mean,
what will happen is if this Super League does go off and all these teams do get kicked out of the domestic leagues, what I can see, Natalie, you know, I asked earlier, you know, will fans stay with the clubs? What will happen is you're going to get Man United playing a game in China one weekend, and then they'll be travelling all the way to America to play their next league game against Real Madrid in Seattle, and then the following week they're going to fly off to Australia and play another game, and so on. And it will no longer be about local fans. It will be a globalization. This is what these clubs want. They want to globalize football in a way that will benefit purely them. What they want to do is, and they almost don't care that Sky aren't involved. You mentioned Sky earlier, Mike, and stuff like that. They can give us stuff because they know damn well, like the American TV companies, etc., will pay the money to show Man United against Barcelona being televised in China and at 4:00 in the morning and stuff like that, because they'll get an audience for it. And that's where it's going. That's unfortunately where they're heading to. So when they mention the Champions League not being commercially viable, that's what they're implying. What they're suggesting is you should let us do how we think we should do it on a business scale, and let the Champions League become like, it goes beyond being Europe. No, let them play wherever, etc.
The top 6 in England certainly have tried to do this before. Obviously, we all know about Project Big Picture, which was they asked 7 Premier League clubs to join Project Big Picture. And what a lot of people didn't realise, and certainly didn't know at the time, is Everton were the 7th club that were asked. And Everton said no. So Everton's deciding vote, because it has to be something like 15 against 5, Everton's deciding vote cost them that. So we could be in a situation where the Premier League already give more money away. So I'm really worried, actually, from this meeting today, that the Premier League are going to bend over. And and that's my worry. Look, if they don't want to kick these clubs out of the Premier League, fine, don't. But they need a 30-point deduction, in my opinion.
They need something, now, I'm totally. I think we're all agreed. And Natalie, I know that would cost Man United, a Champions League place. But
I relegate Arsenal.
Yeah, relegate Arsenal. You know what? unfortunately,
I want United out of the Premier League. I want them to take nothing, and so I'm even more than what will happen.
Unfortunately, it won't happen. That's the thing. That's
Jack,
the thing.
As a Leicester fan, mate, what do you the big four? I'm calling it the big 14 because it is the big 14. It's the big 20 clubs that make up the Premier League. It's not just 6 clubs, but so the big 14 are currently in talks. We're waiting to hear what the outcome is going to be. What do you? 2 questions I suppose I could say to you is: what do you want the repercussions to be, and what do you think they'll be?
Do you know what? Yeah, from a Leicester fan's perspective, I think it's disgraceful how the fans are being treated here. Especially with Natalie as well, being a Manchester United fan. It's not fair on her. It's not fair on the fans make football. Yeah, football is nothing without the fans. It's not about the money. It's about watching the team you love and support. Growing up as a young lad, watching Leicester through the shit times, and we've come into the good times now. People would call us a top 6 club now. But I think these football clubs, I think they're bigger than what they are. These owners from America, Liverpool's, Man United, and teams like that, they think money grows on trees, doesn't it? And money's more than what football actually is. And I just think it's a disgrace. Football should be put first over money any day of the week. I'd happily go and watch Leicester without any money.
Guardiola,
that's watching your club.
I'm going to ask you guys a question. If we were involved in this, what would you expect your players to do? Apparently, I've heard, I don't know if it was a comment here or heard earlier, that Marcus Rashford walked out of training today because
Mike said that. Mike said that earlier on. Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, apologies.
Right.
Now, what would you expect if this goes through? What would if West Ham were in this? Okay, we're not, but if we were, let's just dream for a minute. If West Ham were in this, one of the top 6. What I would expect my team to do is every player to put in a transfer request and say, I can't play for this club. As much as I love it, I can't play for this club, and show a stand. Because the only way that this is going to be successful, 2 ways. One, the TV money, which we know the American TV companies will gladly pay anything for. And then 2, if they don't have players playing for them, we know there are going to be greedy bastards out there. Just like, a lot of players flocked to the Chinese league and said, I'll take that 300 grand a week. But look at them all now, running away, trying to find other clubs to play for because the money tree's, dead. And so would you expect, if your club was part of this, would you expect your players to make a stand and put in transfer requests? Would it be the right thing to do? Natalie, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'll go first and then everyone can add in. Like, listen, Rashford, he wants to play in the Euros. He wants to do this for England. Harry Maguire, I think he's either been England captain or on the verge, that kind of thing. And apparently he went after Woodward and said, this is a disgrace. You can't be doing it. Bruno's already tweeted out, I live for the dream of football. Ander Herrera, our ex-player, has said, growing up, being in a small club, you dream of playing Champions League. He's Bilbao. So I expect, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably going to say, we'll triple, double, pay you £1 million a week, whatever. They're going to do things like that. But people like Rashford, Greenwood, I know Jesse's going anyway, but, Maguire.
An exclusive. Is that an exclusive?
Yeah. But I expect all, like I said, Greenwood, Rashford, Tuanzebe, even though he doesn't play a lot, Maguire, I expect boys like that to go because, especially Rashford, he is, what he's done during this pandemic, he has been like a savior, not of only football, but of the whole world. He's shown like a light of this is a good person. So if he plays in this thing and, with all the uproar about it, I'd be shocked.
He's about the community. He's about the youth. He's the voice of the youth, not bloody Perez.
Yeah.
Mike, you were going to talk to us there before anyone else goes on about Guardiola's comments. I've just seen them as well. If you want to give us a rundown, please, mate.
Yeah, so Guardiola obviously did say that he weren't going to making any statements on the ESL, but he has come out and said it's not sport when there is no relation between effort and success. It's not sport. It's not sport if it doesn't matter if you lose. I've said many times I want the best competition as possible. It's not fair if teams fight at the top and cannot qualify. So I think what he is suggesting is that there is no issue with having a competition different to the Champions League, but it's got to be fair that teams get removed out of it and qualify for it. Relegation and promotion, that's just that I can almost live with. But the fact that I feel sorry for these managers. The fact that these managers are having to answer questions on it, not knowing that they've been screwed over by their employees, is a joke. And from an Everton perspective, I might as well answer on that front. I think it's all very difficult with what we would say right now, because I think me and Stel probably agree that when you say to a player, I'm going to give you £1 million a week to play, but nobody will like you again, but you're still going to get £4 million a month and £44 million a year or £48 million a year, are players going to turn that down? And this is where
won't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, it's the quality of the players, because if you have the likes of Rashford and Greenwood and players of that ilk turning around and going, I can't play for you anymore, you'll be left with some good players, but if they suffer the threat of, and this is where I worry about UEFA and FIFA and everyone giving it the big, but they've got to take the action. If they say the threat will be that you can't represent your nation, you can't play in an international, but go ahead, earn £1 million a week, but you will never wear an England shirt again, a Spanish shirt again, etc., etc. How many of those players would actually take the £1 million? There'll be some, but there'll be an awful lot that will go, you know what, it's not worth it.
And go further than that. So you've got at least 2 huge names in international football. You've probably got another 3 that I would put as the top 5 elite players, which is Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, Haaland, and
Jesse Lingard.
I was going to argue Harry Kane, but we'll go with Jesse Lingard. But you'd probably say they're the 5 players, right? They're the 5 players, and 2 of them are not in the league, and the 2 that aren't going into that league are the younger generation, the 22-year-olds, the 21-year-olds, the ones that are not going into the Super League. Now, if Messi, Ronaldo, and Harry Kane, or whoever you might class as the 5th best player in the world, come out and say, we're not doing this, I think this stops dead.
I agree. And this is where it comes. This is the big issue, isn't it? It's where who decides, what player decides that they're for it, what player decides to keep their mouth shut and just earn the money, and what players turn around and go, not for me. Here's my transfer request.
I think Mike and Stelios and all guys, do you not think that Barca are doing it so they can keep Messi? Because they can't afford him.
Barca are doing it because they're £1 billion in bloody debt. That's why they're doing it.
It's all about Messi, isn't it? That team is all about Messi. So, if Messi goes, that is going to be like shockwaves across the whole world kind of thing. Messi's been there since forever. So they need that money to keep Messi.
Yeah, you're right. People have been putting in the comments, the PR around this, the marketing campaign around this has been a complete and utter disaster. And, you're hearing comments breaking as we speak. I mean, it's literally happening all the time. Like, there's clubs, cracks are starting to appear in some of the clubs that have joined the Super League because they feel like they've been hung out to dry. And I'm not saying I stick up for them, but what I'm saying is you've got Perez leading this group with the comments that he's making and making matters worse. And it was already worse before he needed to open his mouth. But he's just clarifying everything that we've all known. And now they're saying that there's some clubs there that are going to have some cold feet. Now, I'm on the understanding that because they've signed this letter of intent to join this league,
broken the rules.
They've broken a rule. Therefore, there will be reprimands and problems going to be faced with these clubs, even if they... I can see the pain in Natalie's eyes, and it's true. You can see it. We had a Liverpool fan on yesterday.
If I was a fan of one of these clubs, I'd be mortified. I'd be mortified. Yeah.
But listen, going back to that question, I mean, this is our daily show. We probably could go on for hours, but we've got lives we need to live. Natalie, what do you want to happen, and what do you think will happen?
I want us to be banned. I want the players, like Stel said, they can't play for the club, so they start to move. Even if, for example, some of them stay, Hangland joins, whatever, he'll collapse after a while. So this is what I think will happen. Probably nothing, or they'll get like a big points us up to 10 points or something. It won't affect us. It won't affect City, really. Maybe. I saw Jack smiling before. He's sort of like thinking, give them, Leicester another title. Yeah, do it.
Well, hold on. Not just Leicester. It'll be Leicester for the title.
But no, I want them out, but I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, it won't happen. It won't happen.
Jack, over to you, mate. What do you think will happen? The same questions, and what do you want to happen?
I think they need punishing in the right way. Don't put the money aside for now. You wait for a FIFA or the Premier League and actually punish them, because it's corrupt at the end of the day. UEFA, and that's always been corrupt, haven't they? Not going to lie. But they need to take a stand now and actually deal with these things in the right manner. These young players growing up always want to play for England, Spain, whoever. They've always dreamed of winning the World Cup, the Euros, and playing for their club and serving them well. But, these players like Rashford, like Natalie says, and that they want to move clubs because it depends on if they're money driven. If these players are money driven, then they're bound to go and join that league, aren't they? But if they actually put the club first and the fans, then it could be an all different story.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they will be banned. I think they should be banned. I think it's quite interesting that Manchester City is their official admin account has just repeated Pep's comments. So I think someone from their admin department's getting sacked. However, from an Everton perspective and from football perspective as a whole, if this happens, there has to be a metric where their results don't affect the success of the other teams, because any of these clubs are going to have a better time than Everton, Leicester and West Ham. They've got more money to spend and they're going to be able to spend it because the financial fair play rules allow it. So for me, it's got to be that there needs to be a metrics behind that. There has to be some form of incredibly tough points deduction or banning or just not allow them in European competition for 2 years, 3 years or something. And going even further than that, some of these players, what we were just talked about, is obviously in their contracts. Their contracts has a metrics, as all of our contracts with our employees do. Someone who's drafted up contracts, there will be a set guidelines in there as what you are expecting to do in your job. Now, if the actual institution change, some of these players, if they join the Super League, if these contracts are not written efficiently enough, some of these players can leave for free, and people aren't thinking about that. Mm. If their contract is headed by UEFA or FIFA paper, and you are a UEFA member and they have left the European clubs, whatever, their contract could be null and void. So, honest to God, the effects this has on clubs could be absolutely monumental, not just for the teams that are staying in the Premier League, who are going to be signing players like Kevin De Bruyne. You're going to have Leicester signing, whoever they want. You're going to have West Ham signing whoever they want. You're going to have Everton signing whoever they want, because these clubs won't be able to retain these players unless they pay them off. Yeah, they've got to sign a new contract of employment. So, for me, just get rid of them. Just fuck it. Yeah. Be bold, be brave, be ugly, sack them off.
Yeah. Before we come on to you, Russ, I just want to have a big shout out to Stel, who joined the Super League marketing team and design team for creating the logo from his Canva account. So well done, Stel. Well done, Stel, mate. Really, really good shout on the Super League logo from. Yeah, no, it's this free account, mate. Russ, over to you, mate, before we kind of head up the show.
So anyway, next year, Messi and Ronaldo playing at West Ham. I'll take that. No.
But you know what? Moyes won't rate them and he'll put them on the bench because they won't be ready.
He'll sign them and play them on the...
It's not Mascherano and Tevez.
Mike, thanks for joining us, mate. Blue Boys Network, you got a goal ahead, so thanks for that, mate.
No worries at all, guys. Sorry to leave early. Guys, it's been a great stream. Make sure you subscribe to all the guys here. And
I'll get it on the description. Cheers, mate. Thank you, Mike.
Good man. So anyway, now he's gone. Anyway, no, joking. No, for me, as I said, I don't think it. I think nothing's going to happen. I think nothing's ever. I think they're going to get. They're going to get a big fine, and they've thrown their toys out the pram, and it will basically be a case of give it another couple of years and the same thing will happen again. I just think there's too much, and unless something significant happens in the way football is governed, then this is going to happen anytime they want a bigger piece of the pie, and we've seen it happen. People made parallels to the Premier League when it started, but obviously, there was still the pyramid system involved in that. But I think we'll have to just see what happens, man. I mean, to be honest, as I said, I'm the same with Still. I think this is a massive power play by them trying to flex their muscles. Go on, Russell. Go on, Reece. I will, mate. And if all else fair, if they do get points deduction, us and Jack will fight out the Premier League.
Well, we're 9 points clear. If they take away all the
game in hand,
with the game, and we'll still mess it up.
Champion.
Right, Anton, I've got to go because
we're all going to head. So listen, thank you so much for joining us. It's supposed to be a short and sweet daily show, but it was relevant, and we'll find out what happens when the big 14 come out of their meeting, and this will grow arms and legs, and it'll change every single day. So please make sure to check in with all our channels. Obviously, West Ham and United, myself and Stell. Russ has got My Hammers 11. Go and check it out. Natalie, All For United, and soon to have your own channel. And then Jack from Leicester Fan TV. And hopefully, maybe in the coming weeks we'll have you guys and we'll kind of work together, because that's the one thing that's hopefully going to come out of all this is the fact that all football our fans are coming together and going to speak out against this. And as some of the pundits are saying, is we need to actually keep going at it and speaking out loud and being loud about it, because this is a disgrace and this is exactly what they're doing. Pure and utter greed from the top.
Quick comment on this. I don't know if there are protests going on. I know there's been an awful lot of talk about it. And I know there's also been a suggestion that West Ham should boycott the game against Chelsea, which I totally disagree with, because what that will do is it will impact on West Ham. It will penalise West Ham. So why should our team be penalised for boycotting a game, which I don't agree with that. As far as the process is concerned, I don't know. So you'll have to check out what goes on social media. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, that's fine. And that really brings an end to our show. So, subscribe, like, comment, and do the rest for everyone else. We'll have everyone else's channels in the description below. And really appreciate you all coming on today. And fingers crossed, the Big 14 fight back, like it says in the title, and challenge those big 6 clubs, not you, Natalie, individually, the owners of those clubs. You know what I mean.
Glazers out. Everyone needs to treat that, because they're the reason why I think a lot of this is happening as well.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, thank you for joining us, and stay safe.
See you guys.